Well, this is about as interesting as watching paint dry. I'm not sure why I didn't comment on this when I first took this video, but I'm adding some comments now so you have some idea what's going on. So this is a brand new Biohome Brick. Recently got my first fairly large shipment of these rascals, and took this video back in November when I got just a few of them in. I wanted to see how they compared with the ceramic bricks that have been around for a little while. And so I thought I'd do the same test that you've probably seen a million times on YouTube with the other Biohome varieties to see if they would wick. And sure enough, they're wicking pretty well. Now this brick is about 8¼ inches long, and you can see the water's already up to around 5 inches and climbing right along, which is fairly impressive, I think. Of course, a lot of people say, well, this test doesn't really show you anything, and actually that's certainly not true. What it demonstrates is the fact that this media is incredibly porous and all the way through, and it also demonstrates how small these pores are. The capillary action requires a small, if you you can have, you probably heard of capillary tubes, and the smaller the tube, the higher the water will go up the capillary tube. And so I'm sure the same principle applies here. The smaller these cavities are inside of this thing, the higher they'll wick the water up. And so we're trying to see. I'm going to be kind of surprised, but well, not actually, because I've already done this test. I'm doing this commentary afterward. I was surprised, actually, to see that this blasted thing went all the way to the top. You can see it's getting pretty darn close now. And there we are. We got about 1/4 inch to go. And just a wee bit more, and that top is going to be completely wet. So that's pretty impressive. That's a fair bit of distance for that water to overcome gravity and just work its way up through all those teeny thousands and thousands of very small pores. So there you can hopefully see the fact that it's a little darker there on top as it gradually completely fills this brick with water. And there we go. There's one little corner there that's holding out a bit, but it's essentially saturated all the way through. So here we see the right-well brick, ceramic brick. We're running the same test on it, and going to see how far it will go. I actually thought that this was going to wick like crazy, but it didn't. Minutes, roughly. So it took about 20 minutes, roughly. Unfortunately, I didn't have the presence of mind to actually note the time when I started, but I did look at my watch after it had been going for a little bit, few minutes, and then at the end. So took roughly 20 minutes for the water to wick all the way through, and then I doused the other end for a little while just to make sure it was fully saturated, and weighed it again. So at the beginning, when it was dry, it was 1.19 kilograms. And now it's soaking wet and weighing 1.42. But you'll notice that while it's saturated, it's not really released, and there's no water running on the surface of the scale, which I think is fairly indicative of the fact that the media is holding everything internally. So anyways, I'm going to let this rascal sit overnight and on a plastic surface so it won't be wicked into something like wood or something like that. And we'll wait again in the morning and see how much it retained overnight. I would expect there's going to be some evaporation. I'll be way surprised if there isn't, but we'll see what we come up with in the morning. So the ceramic media makes some fantastic claims about their porosity, and I expected that the water was just going to zip up through it. I did note when I started this test at 320. It's now, if I can get my watch back to being a watch. Oh, come on. I don't care how many steps I had today. I want to know what time it is, for God's sakes. Must be a time in here somewhere. Well, anyway, eventually I'll get that back, and we'll see how much time's elapsed. But it seems that this is about all she's going to do in however much time this was. We'll pause this for a second. So it's interesting to see that the water flows down much more readily than it flows up through capillary action. I would theorize that means the voids in there are considerably larger than they are in the center glass media. And even though I've dipped both ends of this now into the water, I'm not able to really fully saturate the cube. So I'm going to stick it in the bucket. It's a little larger so we can completely immerse it and see if we can, well, I'm assuming that'll completely saturate it. There we go. We'll let that sit for a bit. And you can see the air coming out of it. So I guess we're displacing that with water. We'll give that a few seconds. And okay, we got the ceramic brick fully saturated now. And the results are in. Fairly impressive gain. 1,150 grams now. So we'll pull out the calculator and see what the difference is between the two. But I think off the top of my head, it looks like this definitely holds more water. What that means is I'm not absolutely certain yet, but we'll think on it a bit.